Today we're boarding a train that crosses 3 countries, switches voltages on the move, swaps locomotives halfway through, and has a delightfully dusty first-class OBB car. From Austria to Poland across the Czech Republic, this is the EuroCity Danubius. I'll show you the train, the scenery, and tell you how much does it all cost. All with a little bit of historical and technological trivia along the way. Come along! Hi and welcome to Vienna Hauptbahnhof. One of the busiest and most modern stations in Central Europe, this is Austria's main railway hub and gateway between Western and Eastern Europe. It was inaugurated in stages between 2012 and 2014 and is accessible by metro, trams, buses and commuter trains. There are shops, eateries, ticket offices, even a supermarket tucked away in a corner. But today I'm not shopping, I'm heading upstairs to the first-class lounge. It's quiet with a few drinks and snacks on offer. Overall, it's a very pleasant place to wait for a train away from the bustling main concourse. I'm not hungry right now, so I'll just have a little something to calm down my sweet tooth and the water to keep hydrated. I can't stay long though, as I have a train to catch and I still have to walk to the platform. Let's go! And after walking a little, here's my train. Second-class Polish cars, plus the dusty Austrian first-class car we'll see shortly. Up front is a Siemens Vectron multisystem Class 193, operated by Czech Republic. But for now, let's board and find my seat. This closed compartment on the left, it's used for bikes. And here's my seat for the next 5 hours. I'll give you a full seat tour later, but right now, let's get moving. Rear views when departing Vienna are always a treat. And as per tradition, upon departure, today's trip map. While we move north out of Vienna, and before the usual train and seat tours, here's a quick historical trivia moment about what is in fact one of the most storied railways in this region. For a little context, all the area we're about to cross, and which is now Austria, the Czech Republic and Poland, was back then part of the Austrian Empire. And this is where Austria's very first steam railway was born under Emperor Ferdinand I. Financed by banker Solomon Meyer von Rothschild, the Emperor Ferdinand Northern Railway opened its maiden stretch of about 15 kilometers from Floridsdorf, a district of Vienna today, to Wagram in 1837. By June 1839, the line reaches Breclav, linking Vienna to the Bohemian heartland for the first time ever, and in 1847 it reached what is now Ostrava and Bohumin. Originally intended to serve the salt mines near Krakow, the Nordbahn never really got there directly. Instead, It relied on connections with other Prussian and Austrian railways to reach its intended destination, which is ours today too, Krakow. Named for the emperor himself, the Northern Railway Company also spurred coal and industrial expansion in Silesia. In 1907, it was nationalized, its rail network absorbed into the Imperial Royal Austrian State Railways, the great-grandfather of today's OBB, while its industrial ventures kept operating under the old name. After World War I and the breakup of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, this railway from Vienna to Krakow passed into the hands of the new national railways created across Central Europe. Today, we ride on the legacy of those pioneering iron horses, almost 200 years later. It can be said that 19th century ambition laid the rails for our modern EuroCity Danubius. With this little historical moment, and after our Vectron has changed from the Austrian 15 kV to the Czech 25 kV without stopping, we are already in Breclav, perhaps the most important junction in this region in its own right. Here in Breclav, the line we've been on from Vienna and onward to Ostrava and Poland meets the main line from Prague and Brno to Bratislava and the rest of Slovakia via the border in Kuti, plus a branch line to Znojmo. Breclav itself is a small town which shows its growth to the railway. Before the Kaiser Ferdinand North Railway arrived, this was little more than an old former border castle. Once the railway got here, lumber mills and food factories were established and the town began to flourish. Today, it has around 25,000 inhabitants and the old castle lies in ruins, perched above the town center. But it's time to head back on board and, after departure, offer you today's train tour. Now that we're rolling again, let's go for today's train tour. I'll be quiet, leaving you with just the train, the background music and short on-screen texts. Enjoy! And now welcome to my first class seat tour. The seat itself is plush and supportive with all the basics you need except power sockets, which are available only in some seats. Overall, this is quite good for daytime trips of any length. The car has good rolling quality and the inside is clean. But here's the catch. Outside, this OBB car looks like it hasn't seen a wash since Emperor Ferdinand's era. The layers of grime are so thick you could write EuroCity Danubius in the dirt. It's a pervasive issue on some OBB stock. Maybe you'll recall I've poked fun at it in past videos, and it's a shame, because inside Austrian trains are otherwise top-notch. Let's hope the cleaners look at it the next time it's parked somewhere with washing facilities and give it a good bubble bath. With a delay of 6 minutes, we roll into Bohumin. Although not the last station before the border, it acts as the de facto border station on the Czech side and is our last stop in the Czech Republic. Here, the Siemens Vectron Class 193 that has been with us since Vienna is swapped out in record time for a PKP Intercity Class EU07. And after all this, we depart once more into the night toward Krakow, but with a few stops along the way still. Our first stop in Poland has a name that I simply can't pronounce, but as always, it was written in the inferior left corner of the screen. Dear Polish friends, forgive me. I've tried every which way, but your city names always tie my tongue in knots with a terrible end result, as you already noticed in past videos. On this major station, we have a Polregio EN57 electric multiple unit on the adjacent track, and many passengers waiting for our train. Are they connecting from the regional service? It's a quick stop and soon we are on our way again at moderate to good speeds. The largest town between the border and Krakow is Oświęcim, where our train of course stops. It's home to about 35,000 people and sadly famous for the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp, now the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum, a UNESCO World Heritage Site which lies just outside town across the train tracks. From here, we've got just 45 minutes left until Krakow. And finally, after 5 hours and 15 and on time, here we are at Krakow Główny or Krakow Main, a busy station at the heart of an important rail junction. In Krakow, the main line from the south to Warsaw meets the main east-west line that spans southern Poland. Beyond domestic services to most major Polish cities, there are direct trains to Germany, the Czech Republic and Austria. With one last look at the OBB first-class car that carried me here are my final thoughts on the EuroCity Danubius. The ride is smooth and the seats are comfortable, good for a 5-hour run. But as I mentioned earlier, the exterior dirt is a real shame. The second-class Polish cars are comfortable as well and clean, so maybe they end up being a better option than first class. I also missed having a cafe car, which would be a welcome touch. All that said, this remains an excellent way to travel between Austria, the Czech Republic and Poland. Thanks for riding with me on today's journey all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the trip, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and drop a comment below. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these rail adventures rolling, always with a bit of history and technology. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next week.